Okay, episode 2, weight gain 4,000. So, what ended up happening is in my bootleg copies, it said that Volcano was the second episode. So I watched that and I did notes on it and I did a video on it. But then I realized that no, that's not the second episode. The second episode is actually weight gain 4,000, and Volcano is actually the third episode. So I'm getting to it now. Whatever, I'm here. Okay, so let me start off with a quick summary. In this episode, Eric wins an essay contest, which is weird because, as we all know, Eric is an idiot. He's a genius, like an evil genius idiot, though. Oh well. So Eric wins an essay contest, and as a prize, Kathy Lee Gifford gets to come to South Park to give him the reward. And everyone is freaking out over it because they love Kathy Lee for whatever reason. I kind of know about her. But the only person who's not excited about it is Mr. Garrison. Apparently, when Mr. Garrison was really young, him and Kathy Lee were in like this talent competition or something, and he lost to Kathy Lee Gifford, and he has held on to this grudge for a very long time now. So, you know, as the whole town is all up in a hoopla trying to get ready for Kathy Lee Gifford, Wendy discovers that Mr. Garrison has a plan to kill her. And so Wendy convinces Stan to go help, backtrack. Eric, because, you know, he's Eric Cartman, he's like, I'm going to try to, the mayor is like, hey, Eric, you should probably try to lose weight. And Eric was like, I'm going to try to lose weight. So then he tries weight gain 4,000, which is actually a bulking protein shake type thing. And rather than bulking up and losing weight, he gains a lot of weight. So anyways, as everyone is trying to as everyone is in a hoopla, because I wanted to use that word today, while everyone is in a hoopla over Kathy Lee Gifford and trying to get the town ready, Mr. Garrison is trying to kill her out of revenge. And Wendy, Wendy finds out about the plan, and then she enlists the help of Stan and also Kyle, I think, to stop Mr. Garrison. And, well, humor ensues when Mr. Garrison doesn't listen to Wendy or Stan and shoots something anyway, and he ends up killing Kenny on accident, and Kathy Lee Gifford leaves the town. In the end, it is discovered that Cartman really didn't write the essay that he won a prize for. All he did was plagiarize Walden by Henry David Thoreau. And in the end, Mr. Garrison gets arrested and he is sent into a psychiatric ward. And Cartman gets his wish of being on television by being able to go on to Geraldo, except he's on Geraldo because he got really, really fat. And apparently, according to Trey and Matt, he gained 700 pounds in this episode. But, you know, he lost it the next episode anyway, because that's the wonderful things about cartoons. You gain weight and then you gotta lose it. I wish it was that easy in life. But anyways, a couple themes, I guess, that I noticed is not Principal Victoria, I always mix the two up. Mayor McDaniels. Or McDonald's. McDaniels! Dear God, I hope it's McDaniels. Mayor McDaniels. She's like super obsessed with her public image. I mean, she doesn't even care what, okay, so when they got the call that some little kid in their town won the essay contest and Kathy Lee Gifford was going to show up, she didn't even care what the contest was for. She didn't care who won. She didn't care about anything. She only cared about herself. I mean, even, one of her first lines here is, wow, I can't believe they're coming. I hope I look good, and, we need to make the town look good. Which is understandable. I mean, if a whole bunch of television cameras are coming to your town, you would want it to look good anyway. But then, her aides next to her were like, who knows, maybe you could be senator or state senator. And that's all she really cares about. She just cares about herself and her public image, and she doesn't even care about her town. And maybe this is Trey and Matt kind of, poking fun at politicians who care more about public image than the people that they are supposed to be representing. And honestly, I don't really get too much into politics because it depresses me a lot. It's probably the worst thing to say. But yeah. Another thing that I just kind of struck a chord. I don't know. Another thing that I noticed is that Mr. Garrison was gonna kill Kathy Lee Gifford, and I just think that in a lot of times in our society, people kill people kill celebrities for like seemingly no reason whatsoever. I mean, John Lennon was shot. That was sad. And John F. Kennedy was shot, but he was a politician. But from the looks of it, he was kind of like a celebrity politician. And yeah, just people try to shoot celebrities all the time, and it's weird. I don't really know why our society is so obsessed with celebrities. I don't know why we'd want to kill anyone. Especially, like, you know, even if, like, celebrity or not, I don't see why we want to kill people. But Mr. Garrison obviously is doing it for revenge, even though it's a really petty thing to try to get revenge over. Another thing that I noticed in this episode was the commercial for Weight Gain 4000, which is the dietary supplement Cartman gets. I think it was making fun of the get skinny or get bulked up quick schemes that we see a lot of times that are advertised on television. And, what is it? What was I gonna say? Yeah, dietary supplements, or like get skinny quick or get bulked up quick schemes, they don't really last. They only last in the moment and then they go away. I mean, if you want your body to look a certain way, you have to work for it, which, you know, is kind of frustrating for someone like me. Like, I'd like to lose weight, but it's frustrating because you can't, like, if you lose weight like the fast and easy way, you're just gonna gain it all back, honestly, from what I've seen, from what I've read, and what I've kind of experienced myself. Like, in order for you to lose weight and keep it off, you need to, like, completely change your entire life. Which sucks. And I should probably want to do that, but I kind of don't. Okay, well. Other stuff that I wanted to mention, I wrote an outline, just saying, and, again, as I move on with this vlog, it will get, like, I'm hoping that it's gonna get better and better and better, but, like, the, outline that I did now is a little better, but whatever. Okay, so, anyways, so this episode is actually the very first time where Mr. Garrison looks normal, like the way that we're used to seeing him. The second episode of South Park, not the first. I don't really know why they decided to change that. I guess he looked a little, I don't know, his face was longer and the mouth was down here and it was kind of weird, but whatever. Another thing that I found interesting is that, quite honestly, I feel as if character development-wise, Wendy is, she's a pretty strongly established character by now. I mean, she's not exactly a main character. I mean, we all know that the four main boys, but Wendy, I don't think I've really noticed her as a standout character until this point. I mean, in the later episodes, yeah, she stands out, but I didn't even really know that, well, I didn't really notice that in the beginning episodes, she was a pretty strong, definitive character. And I think that it was really cool that they had her be smart rather than stupid. Yeah, just like, because like in a lot of shows, whenever it's a story of just like boys, then the girl characters are a little dumber. And Wendy's the opposite of that. She's actually the very intelligent one. I mean, she wrote, like, her essay was about dolphins, for crying out loud. And she's actually the most, she's one of the most, what's the word? She's one of the most focused. One of the most focused. Because, like, as everything was going on, she was the one who found out Mr. Garrison's plan. And she was like, hey, guys, this is, like, and then she found Stan, Kyle, and the rest. And she was like, hey, guys, Mr. Garrison is trying to kill Kathy Lee Gifford. We should do something about it. And then, like, Stan and Kyle, well, Stan wasn't going to do anything at first. And then Wendy was like, please, Stan, and asked him really nicely, and he changed his mind, which is kind of interesting to know that us girls kind of have that power over guys. It's good to know that we have that. I'm not sure if mine has worked lately. Whatever. Okay, so also in this episode, it should be noted that we get the first glimpse of Mayor McDaniels. And I finally remember her name only because I wrote it down on my little note card, your like Word document. We finally get to see Mayor McDaniels, so that's pretty cool. Also, Mr. Hat is shown as Mr. Garrison's alternate personality in this one. He's shown to be that pretty severely. I mean, Mr. Hat was the one that was gonna go kill Kathy Lee Gifford. And he was saying, like, you know, he kept on repeating, kill Kathy Lee, kill Kathy Lee. And, like, I don't know, part of me feels as if he's demon-possessed because, like, he was, because there was a part in the episode where Mr. Garrison has Mr. Hat, like, in his drawer, and then, like, he opens up the drawer to see Mr. Hat, and Mr. Hat has, like, big red eyes and is screaming, kill Kathy Lee. I'm not sure if that was Mr. Garrison screaming it out, but still, he had red eyes. I think Mr. Hat is demonically possessed. Another thing that I found that was very interesting, and it's, like, throughout the entire seasons, or, well, it's throughout the entire series, I think, and it's kind of a minor thing that I notice, is that the alphabet poster that's behind Mr. Garrison in his classroom is backward. Like, okay, so, like, the capital letters are A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then the lowercase letter are Z, Y, and it goes on. It goes in the descending way. Just look at the alphabet poster next time you watch South Park. You'll see what I mean, and I just kind of find it's kind of cute. And, okay, so in this one, Cartman, it's, like, the first time he screams out beefcake, and honestly, he's never screamed out beefcake any other time. It's kind of sad. I mean, I thought that was kind of a funny joke. I mean, in the video game, you can eat weight gain 4,000 because I think it adds to your attack and lowers your... No, it increases your attack, and I think it also increases your defenses. So yeah, there's that. And, okay, one of my favorite quotes in this episode was from Cartman, and he was at the bus stop in, like, a little tank top, and, you know, he's obviously gained more weight, and he just says, I have a nice body, and I want to show it off. And, you know, I just, as a woman, that I can identify with that. I mean, I might not be the skinniest broad in the world, but I think I have a good body, and I want to show it off in a tasteful manner. Sometimes not, so whatever. I just thought that was a very nice quote from Cartman. Also, in this episode, Clyde is introduced, and so is Bebe. Except in Clyde, but with Clyde, his name isn't said. He just asks, am I an Indian or a pioneer? And then Bebe actually is, she's introduced. Her name is said. Oh, okay, so a big point that I wanted to make here is, so Mayor McDaniels, so the kids in South Park they were doing a play for Kathy Lee Gifford's arrival, and so Mr. Garrison, you know, he was supervising it or putting it together or whatever, and then like the kids who were playing the Indians were just kind of sitting there, and then the kids who were playing the pioneers came in and started beating up on the kids playing the Indians. And so then, Mayor McDaniels is like, Mr. Garrison, what are you doing? We can't have these kids fighting with each other in front of Kathy Lee. And then Mr. Garrison says, well, what do you want? This is how it actually happened. I think that's a very big point that we need to make to children. I mean, like, in general, I think that's a very big issue. Because a lot of times in history books and stuff, we gloss over the fact that when it came to settlers coming to America, they basically stole the land from the Indians and did all these monstrous, horrible things for their land. And it wasn't pretty and happy. It was actually a very depressing, serious matter. I mean, I don't know. I think that we need to stop lying to kids and be like, this is what really happened. People killed each other for stuff. And sometimes people kill each other for no reason. And sometimes people are sadistic and enjoy other people's pain. But yeah, I think that we shouldn't gloss over history truths. Like, I don't think we should gloss over events that happened in history. I think that we need to be straightforward and upfront with everything. because when it came to the Indians and the pioneers, it was very brutal. And I honestly think that those pioneers stole the land from the Indians, and I don't think that that's right. So yeah. But moving on, another first. So serious and now so bland. Another first is, this is the first time we get to see Jimbo's gun store. So, you know, that's pretty cool. Another thing that I kind of want to point out is that a lot of times in these episodes, the adults are completely useless. I mean, Officer Barbrady, he like freaks out over someone having a camera, but then he sees Mr. Garrison with a gun, and he doesn't even care. Like, no one cared when they saw Mr. Garrison with a gun. No one cared. And then, like, he couldn't even remember, Officer Barbrady couldn't even remember where Mr. Garrison was, even though he was the one who said, hey, you should probably try the book depository. So, Officer Barbrady is an idiot, but I kind of wish he was in more episodes, because he was an entertaining idiot. So yeah, another thing that I found interesting is that Kathy Lee Gifford has her own Pope-mobile. I honestly didn't even know that that was a thing until I saw this episode. I didn't even know that the Pope had a automobile with glass that protects him. I didn't know that, but I understand why he does have it. And so yeah, also a very okay, so a reference that was made was to Scooby-Doo. Officer Barbrady is arresting Mr. Hat. Not even Mr. Garrison, Mr. Hat. And then Mr. Garrison was like, well, I could have gotten away with it if it wasn't for those meddling kids. And, you know, Scooby-Doo. But probably the last big point that I want to make here is that Wendy, like, she was like, guys, Eric didn't really write his essay. He just copied Walden by Henry David Thoreau. And then no one cared. And then, like, Wendy holds up the book and she's like, they don't even know what Walden is. I bet they would if it was a sitcom. And so that kind of, like, struck a chord with me because, me personally, and I think a lot of people in general, they don't really know the greats of literature. They only know, like, you know, fun stuff like sitcoms and pop culture. And I'll be honest and say that I have no idea what Walden is about. But part of me feels as if maybe I should. Like, why am I not more interested in what's considered literary masterpieces? Why am I not more interested in cultured things? Why, like, you know, like fancy stuff. You know what I mean. Why am I not more interested in that? Should I be? Are these classics really classics, or are they only classics because one person thought it was good and called it a classic? Or is it only a classic because we say it is? I don't know, like, for me, it's kind of alarming that I can name, like, almost all the characters in South Park, but I don't even know the name of my own senator. I'm pretty sure I have one, I don't even know that, but still, like, sometimes we completely, like, we don't even, a lot of times I feel as if in society, we know the fun stuff, but we can care less about things that are important or things that impact our world. And I will admit that I'm guilty of that. I don't want to be that way, but I just kind of am. I think part of it has to do with laziness, and I don't really want to put the work in. Like, I honestly don't get why William Shakespeare is popular. I don't find, like, it's hard for me, like, okay, I think what happened is it's just so hard for me to read that I just gave up on it. Yeah, that's probably the worst thing to say. Hopefully you don't think I'm an idiot. I mean, I know other stuff, but yeah. But anyways, this is 20 minutes again. That sucks. So, thanks for watching. Again, I'm just starting out. Bear with me. Like, I know that these first couple episodes are probably going to be really bad, but I'm hoping that by, I don't know, maybe the 4th season, I'll be really good and I'll know what I'm doing. I mean, I have over 200 episodes to, like, get the ball rolling and, like, perfect this or be a lot better at this. So for anyone who's watching, thank you very much. Please have faith in me. And if you have you know, some suggestions and constructive criticism. Don't be a jerk about it. Please don't be a jerk about it, because that would make me really sad. If you have constructive criticism, I'm open to it. But yeah, I don't really know what I'm doing. But I'm doing this out of love for the show. So maybe, hopefully that will make up for the atrocities of this being super long. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I will see you in my next vlog. Goodbye!